What's happening, you guys? Welcome back to Style Sessions with myself, Aaron Selberg, and Jeremy Reed. What's going on, man?
Hey, not much. How about you?
Looking
great. Looking great.
Too.
Thank you.
A podcast. This is a podcast dedicated to helping you find, cultivate, and personalize your own style, and we are here to talk about that.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think it's we're getting a little of a weird start here because of some technical difficulties.
I'm hoping that camera doesn't shut off. That's my main thing. Focused on that.
So yeah, we have that. But yeah, we're really here to talk about style and all that includes. And how to dress for men. Obviously, it's what we're passionate about.
Yeah, it's what we do.
We enjoy dressing well, but we also enjoy helping other people dress well.
Yeah.
You and I both have different takes on style and look, which is great. So we can give different perspectives, and I think it ends up being good for our listeners, but also everybody that ends up coming into our stores.
Yeah, absolutely. And the last two episodes we talked about, our primer episode, which was our first episode, we talked about our history and our stories and the background that we have as far as like being in the industry and how the company and the store got its start and stuff like that. The second episode we talked about dress codes and all that kind of stuff, what kind of attire to wear for specific dress codes. This week's episode, I think we should talk about style rules. And last week when I brought that up to you, you were kind of like, huh?
Yeah, I was 100%. I'm like, what do you mean rules? There's no rules.
Okay, so style rules specifically in menswear, I would say we're talking more about like classic menswear.
Okay.
Yeah. And what I mean by that is like my whole thing for this is like you have to understand your style rules so that you can either bend them or potentially break them.
100% agree.
Okay. 100%. So let's kick things off. We'll talk about like suits. Okay?
Yeah. Okay.
So with a suit, there are some rules, and one of those rules is you should always have a quarter to a half inch of cuff showing on your shirt.
Yep, which is I'm so happy you started there because for everybody that doesn't know, we also do a lot of tuxedos through our business and suits and wedding suits and for formal events, and we do them in rentals and purchases. But that is one of the biggest things, and I'll do it from a seated spot, but I'm not going to do the stand up part. One of the first things we always see is guys are doing this with their arms. Oh, it pulls up on my sleeve.
It's a little short.
It's a little short. Well, yeah, you're coaching third base right now, guy. Like, what is going on here?
Like Frankenstein's monster. Is that how you're going to wind down the aisle? What are you doing?
Yeah, exactly. That nobody does that unnatural movement on a daily occurrence. But I always have people like, oh, my shirt's showing. It should be.
It's supposed to.
It should be.
Like, I mean, look at me. I've got my arms are kind of, you can't, obviously the podcast can't see this, but I've got my arms bent and kind of extended a little bit, and I've got like about inch and a half of cuff showing. When my arms are down to my side, which is how it's supposed to be, I've got about quarter to a half inch of cuff showing. Right. That's a classic traditional way of guys doing it. Now, with that being said, today a lot of guys are doing more cuff showing when their arms are to their side. It's kind of it's a younger thing, right?
A much more modern look.
Showing a little bit more cuff.
And I actually have a good example of that. I'm not wearing long sleeves today. Right. I know you can't see that on the podcast, but on the video element, when I have my arms down, it's probably a full inch.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that kind of came about with the sports jacket, right? The blazer and the sports jacket, where traditionally it's a little shorter in the tail, it's a little shorter in the sleeves. And so guys have kind of worked that over into their suit. Yeah. And which I like it. I think it's a fun look. It is much sportier. Yeah.
I think a lot of that too is like you look at guys like F.E. Castleberry, who is like a really like prominent like New York style designer. He's a really young guy, and he does like an inch to an inch and a half of shirt cuffs showing, but his shirt cuffs are usually, he always wears like a button cuff, and it's usually a little bit shorter than what you normally would get. Traditionally, your dress shirt is going to hit right at the break of the wrist, slightly below. It just depends on how you like it. But his are always short. He likes them cropped. He likes them a little bit shorter. Okay. And with that being said, pant length. Yeah. Right? So traditionally, the old school way of doing it is you would do full or medium break. And a full or medium break is where the back of the pants touch the top of the shoe. You got a little bit of break in the front. In the front, for a full break, it would be a lot of break.
Yeah.
It would be really full.
And I guess to explain that to our listeners and our viewers, A break is when the pant itself actually breaks the front line.
Yeah.
So that line's going down the front of your pants, and it's a
Right.
nice straight line.
Yeah.
And then when it hits the shoe and it pushes back up, that's the break. That's what we're talking about, is that amount of fabric in there.
Where it kind of like the fabric
Yeah,
buckles
it
or
buckles
whatever.
up.
Yeah. So instead of having a straight up, like straight crease in the front,
Yep.
it's got a little bit of a buckle.
It buckles.
Yeah.
And so whatever that amount is, from a half inch to, old days, probably inch and a half, 2 inches.
Yeah.
That's the break. That's
Yeah.
what we're talking about. So 0, half, full.
Right.
Traditionally, I mean,
it's a full break.
full
I
break
mean,
was what we're
it's
at,
like a
right?
2-inch,
Right.
2-inch break almost.
Currently,
There's no break.
we're
It's-
0 breaks.
It's
right?
like, well, actually, it's more. It's not even like that. There's no break. It's that it's cropped. It's like,
yeah, it's
it's
almost
like an
a
inch
capri.
off the shoe.
Yeah.
Like it's short. It's real short. That's the thing now.
The very fashionable thing now.
Yeah.
Which I like it.
Yeah.
At first, I was a little weirded out about it.
I think a lot of it's going to depend on how you're wearing it. You know what I mean? Like you wear a lot of sneakers and you wear a lot of no socks and stuff like that.
Yep.
Like, and that's a cool look with like, especially sneakers to have like, just it barely touches the shoe or it's a little bit above the shoe. That way it shows off the sneaker or whatever. I like that look.
Yeah, I think and I think we'll get to it later in this episode, that there's a time and a place for each look.
Right. Yeah.
Dressing for occasion, I think, is something on our agenda today to talk about.
Yeah.
But that's exactly it. Like I as you said, I dress a certain way. I'm wearing drivers today.
Yeah.
That looks good
Yeah.
with a shorter pant.
Right.
Where a traditional dress shoe, you probably want a longer pant.
Like a full brogue wingtip. Don't do that.
It's going to be a little awkward.
It's going to look
that's
weird.
gonna awkward.
Yeah, it's going to look awkward.
I'm going to smooth my mic here a little
Yeah,
bit
no
while
problem.
we're talking. Feel like I'm cranking my neck to talk to you.
Yeah, I know. I kind of adjusted my chair from last week. Hey, what's going on?
Yeah, we're kind of moving around. We're getting, hey folks, I mean, this is
We're
only our
figuring
third
things out.
episode.
It's all
We're
right,
we're
yeah.
kind of getting a thing here,
Yeah.
changing chairs out, seeing what we like best. So, but yeah, so definitely the length of suits in general,
Yeah.
sleeve length, pant length, all that, it's gotten shorter.
Yeah, it has. It has.
By trend.
Yeah.
Now, there's certain occasions that still doesn't make sense. So,
No. Like I would say for me, like full formal wear, like tuxedo.
Yep.
Unless you're doing like a prom thing. I know for prom we do a lot of the
Yeah,
cropped pants and the Euro slims and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
Like that's fine. Whatever. It's
Agreed.
prom. It's prom. That's fine.
It should be fun.
If you're
It should
doing
be
like
fun.
straight up, if you're going to like a gala or something like that, or gala or however you want to pronounce
Yeah.
it, whatever, Alyssa's gonna be all over me about it. It's fine.
Is it gala, right?
It's a gala, I
Gala.
guess. I don't know.
Yeah, it's a gala, right?
Lola says it's gala because it's Gala. I pronounce it gala usually. I don't know. Whatever.
But a fancy thing.
Yeah, a fancy event.
Yeah,
a full
yeah.
black tie event.
Yeah, I'm with you.
You're gonna do more of a medium break, I would suggest.
I would say so. I would
Yeah.
I would say that's true. Like, I don't think anybody's doing a full break anymore.
No.
And a lot of the reason that full break, for our listeners, why that's not working is our pant opening has gotten smaller. We used to have a wide pant opening, so it used to go over your shoelaces.
Right.
Well, now it's not doing that. It's going to catch the middle of your shoelaces at best.
Yeah. And I think that if you do a full break with like a slim fit pant,
Right.
it's gonna look sloppy.
It looks like
It looks
you're
really
wearing someone
sloppy.
else's pants.
Right.
At the end of the day, it looks like you're wearing someone else's
Now
pants.
there are instances like for a full break. So yesterday,
Okay.
one of our employees, Kevin, came in
Oh, yeah.
and he brought me a pair of flare dress pants.
Yeah.
Like a full on 70s flare.
I mean, it looked like a 70s
like-
pair of pants.
and they are.
Okay.
They are. And I'm like, dude, these are cool, man.
They are cool.
They're really cool. And so we did a full break on those. It touches the top of the heel of the back. There's a full buckle in the front. Like it looks cool. Looks really cool.
And it looks right.
Yeah. Yeah.
It
yeah.
looks right.
So talking about pants, let's stay on pants for a minute, okay?
Okay.
So one of the other style rules or classic menswear rules, I guess, I don't know, is that if you have a flat front pant, you have to have a plain hem. How do you feel about that?
See, and I've never been someone that has got too worried about the hem,
Yeah.
honestly.
Yeah.
And we talked about this before, my background and stuff. Yes, I like dressing nice and stuff like that, but it wasn't like I was an expert in this field.
Right,
That wasn't my domain.
Sure.
So for me to know that rule, honestly, that was not a rule I knew.
Mm-hmm.
I get it. I understand why they say it.
Yeah.
But I don't know that for me, I mean, and we're going to talk about bending and breaking these rules because I tend
Right.
to bend and break a lot of the classics.
Me too.
You know,
Yeah.
So yeah, that's one I didn't even know about, honestly.
Yeah.
I mean, it's an interesting take. I know why they would say it,
Yeah.
but I'm whatever.
So
on it.
so the rule is that if you have a pleated pant,
Yep.
you should have cuffs.
Yep.
And the reasoning behind that, a lot of guys are gonna be like, well, why? What does it matter? The difference is that when you have a cuff on a pair of pants, it adds a little bit of extra weight and it pulls the cuffs, or it pulls the pleats straighter. So if you're wearing a pleated pant, you don't want the pleats to balloon out.
You don't want them shooting out like
right.
pockets.
You want them to lay flat.
Yeah.
So you have put cuffs on, so it'll pull the pleats a little bit straighter.
Which makes sense.
If you have a plain front pant, obviously you don't need that, so
Yep.
you don't need a cuff.
And-
it's more of an aesthetic thing nowadays.
And nowadays, yeah.
Yeah.
And the pleats themselves actually do provide a function.
They do. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
They provide. They're
give you more room.
They're real good for like us bigger dudes who get a little bit more junk in the trunk.
Yep.
A little bit thicker thighs adds a little bit more room in the
Just
hip
gives
region.
room
Yeah,
through
yeah.
the seat area. You'll notice sometimes if it's too tight in that area in your pants, you'll notice a
pocket pull.
puck.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so that's where the pleats would fix that.
Yeah.
Currently, right now, we're really living in a flat front era.
We are.
Pleats are coming back.
They are starting to come back.
in the city areas,
Yes.
in the metropolitans.
And it's a single pleat, and it's like it's a little bit
It's
more.
like- yeah.
It's a slimmer
Like a
pleat
1
than what it
inch.
used to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kinda neat.
Yeah, I kind of like it. You know, it's kind of like that vintage sort of a vibe, which I'm
Yeah.
all about. I'm actually today I'm wearing a flat front pant. These are the Jackson James.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And they have a 2-inch cuff on them.
Which I like the
And
cuff.
I'm
you've been
a
wearing
cuff
a
fan.
lot recently.
I like the
and
cuff.
like it.
I've
I
always
really-
liked the cuff. Like when I worked at Joseph A. Bank, every single pair of pants that we had there were pleated.
Okay.
And so every single suit that I owned from there was pleated and had a cuff on it. And so I like the cuff, and I'm kind of bringing it back. I have got a few suits that are flat fronts with a plain hem, and I'm kind of digging the cuff a little bit more, you know.
And you know, yeah, you're definitely on the front side of that trend. But yeah, pleats and cuffs, I think, are a thing that we're going to see more and more throughout the next handful of years. You know, we talk about, you know, we're mid-state Illinois,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
and sometimes
Takes a few years
the
to get
fashion
here.
trends are slow getting here,
Yeah.
right? So sometimes when we're like, oh, this is cool, it's like,
Yeah.
they've already quit doing whatever we're doing. But
Yeah.
hey, you know, that's the best thing about style is you don't worry about it. Find your
That's right.
style
Yeah.
and live your best life.
And
you know?
that's another episode, like style versus fashion. We'll do that. That'll be another episode
Yeah.
we'll do down the road.
which
But
we'll
like,
hopefully do soon.
yeah. But like, it's true because like, especially for like bigger guys, like I feel like back in the 50s and 60s and stuff like that, there wasn't like fashion wasn't like a thing.
No,
right?
I mean, you just
So like
wore the same
for
thing.
a bigger dude, it was like everybody had the same stuff.
Yeah.
Now it's like I feel like all the like big and tall like suits especially and stuff like that, they're all like a few years behind. You know, so like I was
Yeah.
rocking pleated front pants when everybody was rocking flat front pants because that's all that was available.
And
now
some of it is out of what's available.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, definitely in the big and tall sector because, you know, for whatever reason, vendors and manufacturers, they're late to that game. Now,
Yeah.
you know, some of that is, you know, I would say sometimes big and tall guys, it's frustrating to shop.
It is frustrating. Yeah.
So if you can't find a place that you can find a tire, then
Why?
you don't want to do it often.
And you know what?
know.
Well, I don't want to dwell on this too
sure.
much, but I think that, and you know what? Actually, this leads us to our next rule.
Okay.
A rule that I want to change
Okay.
is guys not giving a shit.
Yeah, let's change it.
Let's change that, please.
Let's please
Like
change
it's crazy
that.
to me, and I think part of that is because guys don't know how to shop,
True.
and they don't know what to shop for, and as a bigger dude, it's hard to find stuff. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
so
there's
it's
not a lot of options.
So you kind of are like, well, I can't find anything, so fuck it, I'm not gonna give a shit.
And I don't want to, you know, get into of that, you know, societal things, but you know, we've seen the I won't say body shaming, but we've seen it where we're like, hey, you go to the stores that are fashionable or the
Right.
stores that are really cool, right?
You go to Express,
Yeah,
and
you go
everything's
to those stores and it's like, hey, I'm a size large or an extra large or whatever, and you put that on and it's like
it's got like a medium.
it fits like half of you,
Yeah.
and you're like, what?
Yeah.
And if you're a legit 2X, 3X guy,
Yeah.
there's nothing in that store that you're ever going to find that fits you.
Nope.
You know what I mean? So then you're just defeated.
Yeah.
You're defeated before you even start.
Yeah.
You know, and then not only that, like folks aren't, and I don't know why this happens, but and we see it all the time. You get to 2X, they don't make a 3X in a cool pattern. It's like, oh, you want this cool thing? You got to be this size or smaller.
Pretty much.
You know what I mean? And,
pretty much.
And so it is frustrating, and it happens in non-big and tall sizes as well.
Yeah.
Guys still don't know how to dress that well.
Yeah.
But that's honestly why we have a job.
Right.
You know,
that's why we're here.
That's why we're here. That's why we talk to you folks. That's why we're doing this, because the reality of it is we are a service-based industry.
Right.
We're here to help people learn how to dress, learn how to put outfits together on their own and feel more confident.
Right.
You know, so that's what we're doing. But yeah, I'm 100%, you know, here's on that rule you're talking about just giving a damn, right?
Yeah.
Guys, if you're only going to take one thing from this entire episode, this is it right here.
Yeah.
Stop. Please just stop wearing the free Miller Lite t-shirt you got at the bar last week. Nobody wants to see it. It's free for a reason.
I didn't think you were going there, but
well,
I agree.
You know,
I
have a few rules, but that's one that when I first opened, I was like, I used to have a rule like stop wearing logo tees, but logo tees are really popular right now. Like ideally like a band tee or a retro tee or something of that nature.
Yeah.
Don't be buying or don't be wearing the free logo tee of like the local tavern or Miller Lite or the insurance company down the street. That's not attractive. That's not cool. Your wife, your significant other, whoever it is, they don't want to go out to dinner with you wearing that.
Yeah. I mean, there's a time and a place for those. Like,
sure.
you know, usually yard work, doing the laundry.
Great time for
going to the gym.
Perfect. It's free.
Exactly. Absolutely.
Sweat on it.
Yeah, I agree.
Rip on it. Whatever you want to do. Work on your car, change oil. I don't care. But you're going out to dinner with your significant other. Don't wear that shirt.
Yeah.
Wear a blank shirt.
I think that wear a plain t-shirt or something.
Just anything.
Like that.
If you're going to wear a t-shirt, wear a plain one.
I think that like you know, all of this being said, all the frustration that guys have experienced over a year, like decades.
Oh yeah, I mean it's decades.
Decades has boiled down to guys that just I don't give a shit how I dress. I don't care. I don't give a fuck what people think. Like
I 100% agree. And that's what it is.
And my thing is like I dress up for me.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like
it's about
I
self-feel.
I like the way that I look in a suit. I like the way that it fits when it fits correctly.
Yep.
I like the compliments that I get, and I know that sounds vain or whatever, but also it's like it makes me feel good. It makes me feel more confident. It makes me feel better about myself.
And it all boils down to the founding principle.
Yeah.
Like when you feel good about yourself, other people can tell you feel good about yourself, and you have better time, better days.
You have that confident aura about yourself.
Exactly.
Yeah, absolutely. 100%. So just give a shit, guys.
Give a shit.
That's all we're saying.
And
just
that's,
give a fuck. Like you don't have to put on a full tuxedo every time you go out to dinner or whatever. But like you know, just step it up a little bit.
I'm not even to the point the guys have to wear like dress attire or not even jackets. You know what I mean? Like I like a jacket even with just a t-shirt. I'm that guy.
Yeah.
But just figure out where you're at in your dressing attire.
Yeah.
And then let's make a goal of improving it one step.
Yeah.
If you're wearing a Miller Lite t-shirts, okay, we're going to start wearing just blank tees for the next couple months.
Plain V-neck tees or whatever.
Black or blue tees. Or
whatever.
You know?
Yeah.
You know, if you're in the black or blue tee, okay, let's add a jacket to it. Let's wear a collared shirt occasionally. You know, let's do that stuff. And it's good to have diversity in that.
Yeah.
You know, so
just step it up just a little bit.
Just a touch.
For you. It's more for you than it is for anybody else. But
I really think, you know,
your significant other will probably appreciate it too.
Yeah, I mean, of course they will, but it's because you'll feel better about yourself.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know.
Okay. So next thing I want to talk about is cleanliness is next to godliness.
I saw that on the show notes today.
So like I totally get all that, and like basically what I mean by that is like having like your clothes be clean all the time and everything like that is basically what we're talking about, right? But like the reality is that like I have suits and I've never dry cleaned.
Sure. Well, that's reality.
And for guys out there who are starting to wear suits, don't wash your suits. Don't wash your suits.
Do not put them in the washing machine.
Don't put it in the washing machine.
Ever.
Don't do it because they're wool. They'll shrink.
Odds are they will not fit you.
Right.
And if they do fit you, they're going to be really wrinkly.
Right. They're supposed to be dry cleaned. Suits are supposed to be dry cleaned. But reality is the rule of thumb I've always have given dudes is dry clean it twice a year.
Yeah, that's realistic.
Or once a year.
Yeah.
Unless you like spill something on it majorly.
And I think the only time I would add an exception to that rule, because I'm in the same boat. Like, I mean, there's a reality. There's a lot of times that, and this is partly because I'm in this business, but also partly even before this, when I wore dress clothes a lot, it would get to the point when it was time to dry clean it, I'd just move on from that suit. You know what I mean? Like,
sure.
it's probably time for me to move on from that suit.
Sure.
It doesn't fit. It's out of style. It's out of color. It's out of
Sure.
out of season. Which we'll talk about dressing for seasons too.
Yeah.
The only other time is like if it's a hot summer wedding and you're outside and you're wearing a suit.
Yeah.
Your jacket might be fine, but those pants might have some rankness to it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so be mindful of that.
Yeah.
If anything, I would take my pants in and have those dry cleaned and not my jacket.
See, I don't even do that unless I spill something on them.
Sure.
Usually what I would do is I would brush them with a nice suit brush, which you can buy on Amazon. And then I would steam them, have them like steam them or whatever, and then like press a new crease into them or whatever.
Which actually brings
air them out and stuff like that.
Which actually, this is on that topic. This is all on that topic that we're talking about here. Is, you know, cleanliness next to godliness.
Yeah.
Is, even if, you know, we're talking about dry cleaning and it's in between, know how to press your shirts or steam your shirts and your pants and all. Know how to use an iron or know how to use a steamer.
Yeah.
And if you don't, then I'm sorry, you got to go to the dry cleaner.
Yeah.
One way or another, you have to wear clothes that aren't wrinkly.
Learn to iron a shirt. I don't understand why I always see guys with just rumply shirts. I don't get it.
And I get
crazy.
It. There's certain shirts that's kind of the look, the style. They're linen shirts.
Absolutely.
There's certain things. But the things that aren't supposed to be wrinkly, make sure they're not
like
wrinkly.
A white dress shirt.
Right.
Shouldn't be wrinkly.
Should not be wrinkly.
That mug should be crisp.
Yeah. And I'm not even saying you got to get hardcore in the starching game or something. That's kind of went away.
I don't use starch.
Folks aren't starching these days. That was 40 years ago.
Yeah. Now everything's wrinkle free and everything like that. You can just hit it, just press it once, and you're good to go.
You know, and if you don't have an iron, for Pete's sakes, get a steamer off of Amazon, and at least get the main wrinkles out.
I know. Yeah.
You know, that right there changes your look 100%. Yeah. You know, you can show up to a wedding in a wrinkled shirt, or you can show up in a pressed shirt, and people take you, take you more seriously.
Yeah. I think another like within this whole scope of everything is like shining your shoes. Guys don't shine their shoes anymore. It's crazy.
I mean, now, and I question if that is, you know, obviously here at That Guy's Secret, we do have shoe kits.
Yeah.
But there's not a lot of, I hate to say that they become disposable shoes, but there's not a lot of shoes out there that you buy that are lasting you lifetimes.
Right.
And, you know, I know last week you wore Allen, or a couple weeks ago you wore Allen Edmonds, which you have cap toes on today.
I have another Allen Edmonds.
Have another Allen Edmonds cap toe.
Shoes, yeah.
Those shoes are meant to last a long time, and you should take care of them, and you should have a kit. I actually enjoy polishing shoes.
Me too.
It's a fun thing to do.
Yeah.
I feel like former military people still polish their shoes.
Yeah.
Because it was ingrained in them, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, otherwise I don't see people cleaning their shoes. And you know, we talked about it in previous episodes that shoes are a lot of times your first impression of the person before you talk to them.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, I'm looking at that shoe and I'm going, what happened? What did you do?
I think like it's not I'm not talking about just dress shoes either. I mean, shining your shoes obviously, but like cleaning your sneakers. Like I clean my sneakers probably at least twice a month.
Yeah, I mean, I absolutely try to avoid getting them dirty, and if they get dirty, they get cleaned almost immediately.
Yeah.
You know,
and it's one of those things like, especially if you're wearing like a white sneaker, and you roll up and you got some crisp white sneakers, it looks great.
Speaks.
Yeah,
I mean, it just speaks to people.
Like there are shoes that, I mean, like a pair of Chucks or something like that. They should be beat up. They should be dirty. They should be not dirty, but like they should be, you know, worn. They should be worn. They're broken in. Yeah,
they're legit worn shoe.
I'm not saying every single pair of shoes has to be like immaculately clean.
Understand the occasion, understand the shoe.
Right.
But if you're going for a certain look, the white sneaker look, the last thing you can do is show up in like a dirty sneaker.
They should be white sneakers, not like
pristine.
Gray.
They should be pristine. And if they're not pristine, you know, I hate to say it's time to retire them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's the tough thing with white clothing, white shoes, white everything.
You go through it a little bit quicker.
Right. It's got a shelf life.
Especially if you wear it more often.
It has a shelf life. Like, be realistic about it. Understand it. we're talking about shoes and all this and things, and I know something. We started with suits before we jumped to our next topic. I wanted to bounce back to it.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Because we went from suits to pants, and then we just kind of jumped into pants.
Yeah.
One rule that I don't know that a lot of guys know on functions is the button rule.
Oh yeah.
Did you we had a thing. It was sometimes or always, sometimes, never. That was the old 3-button.
Yeah,
rule,
yeah.
right?
So if it's a 3-button, it's sometimes, always, never. The second button always is buttoned when you're standing. Typically. And on a 2-button, it's obviously just the top button.
Right, just that.
I always see a lot of guys, they button their bottom button.
The bottom button, and it creates this weird thing here.
Yeah, or they button both buttons, and I'm like, what's going on here?
The time that I could only say that you would ever have the both buttons, I mean, I know it says never have the both buttons, would be like a wedding picture.
Maybe.
Where you're really trying to get that, like.
Yeah.
And that's even rare.
And so, here's the thing with that is like, what's interesting is guys are always like, well, if I'm not supposed to button it, why is it there? It's there for function.
Yeah.
More so than anything else. And it's also, it's an aesthetic thing, having a 2-button suit or a 3-button suit or whatever. It creates a different, what we classify up here is around the tie area is the cowl.
Yeah.
Right? So if you have a 3-button, it's shorter,
Much
shorter
less.
lapel. You show less tie. 2-button is going to be longer. 1-button is going to be even longer than that.
Which 1-buttons?
One buttons are cool, man.
Dude, I can't wait.
Love a 1-button
and a lot
suit.
of those are the cowl. They're not a peak lapel. I mean, they're one piece. I mean, so what for our listeners? What that is that's like a smoking jacket, or you know what I mean, like
ivory dinner jacket.
Right.
Yeah,
that's like that straight up. When you envision 1970s bell bottoms, a cool jacket, like that's that dude. That's that dude, and that's cool.
Yeah.
Like that's a pretty cool look. And on the button things, aside from the 1 button, we've kind of talked about where that is. Guys, most of the time you're dealing with a 3-button or 2-button option in this day and era. There was a 4-button for a while, which was much higher.
I had a couple 4-buttons,
and I did too. Hey, I did too. I had them too.
Early 2000s. What are you gonna do?
It's not a thing right now. Rule of thumb is a 3-button for a taller guy is gonna be great. If you're a shorter guy, a 2-button's gonna lengthen you out a little bit. So keep that in mind when you're making choice. Most of them you're gonna see is a lot of 2-buttons out there right now. With some 3-buttons.
Some double-breasted is coming back too.
Double-breasted is coming back.
It was back in the 2000. I want to say 2007, 2008 range, and it's starting to come back again.
Yeah.
Which I kind of like it. I'm here for it. I like it. I wish I could wear a double-breasted suit. I have one, and I never wear it because every time I do, I feel like I look like Uncle Phil.
Yeah, I can see that.
And so,
it's
but
one of those looks.
I've never
worn it. I've never worn double-breasted. It's never been a look for me.
Yeah.
Not that I won't try it when it gets a little more mainstream.
Yeah.
And it definitely is. I see it in a lot of women's side of stuff right now. The blazers for women are being double-breasted. Which is usually indicated it'll be in men's before long.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, and I didn't mean to throw us back off topic.
No, that's okay.
Send us back to suits, but I know we talked about some suit things, and I know sometimes guys will have questions about that.
Yeah,
so.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
So I think another topic that I want to talk about was matching your medals.
Yeah.
Which is a old school thought process. All your medals should match. And basically what that means for guys who don't know, essentially is if you're wearing a silver metal watch, your cufflinks should match if you're wearing cufflinks. Your ring should match. Your belt buckle should match. Like all of the medals that you're wearing that day should match.
Yeah.
I don't follow that anymore. Like I really don't. And the reason part of that is because like my wedding ring, I'm not wearing it today. It's whatever. I forgot it. It's fine. I'm sorry, honey.
Sorry about that.
Is my wedding ring is silver and gold.
Right.
So it's silver with a gold roping on the edge. So I can get away with wearing.
So
gold.
I was actually gonna say, so two-tone rings really changed that dynamic.
Yes.
And I was actually in the jewelry business when two-tone became a really big thing.
Yeah.
And a lot of that was honestly, it was a selling point. I'm like, well, just get this because then it goes with all your other jewelry.
Goes with everything. Yeah.
You can wear a two-tone ring, and then if you're wearing a bracelet, it could be white gold, and your necklace could be gold. I mean, it made sense.
Yeah.
So I guess that's kind of where I'm at with it. If you can make a story out of it or make it make sense, make your accessories make sense to your outfit.
Yeah.
Cool. Do it. I have black jewelry on, with the watch and stuff and the wood. I still tend to wear jewelry that all matches. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, or one way or another. But a lot of it is two-tone stuff. So, I mean, it all works, though. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So I see that rule. I like the rule in the sense of make sure it makes sense.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
But
And as you said, I have my wedding ring is two-tone. I have another ring that I wear all the time. My pirate ring is two-tone. It's silver and gold, and it's got a little black in there. So I usually do that now because like a lot of my suspenders have gold clasps on them, and if I take my jacket off, it's a little bit of gold metal,
Then it
and
makes
I
sense.
want to have it all match or whatever, or coordinate at least. With that being said, leathers matching.
I got a bug over here driving me
Oh
crazy.
my gosh!
Got a little fly.
I think I heard it on the.
Yeah, he was in your
picked it
microphone. Fly had some input on leathers matching.
Matching your leathers.
Yeah.
I know that like an old school thought process, or I guess I shouldn't say old school, but like I guess a thought process that still carries through because we still do it.
We still do it.
Is belts matching
Shoes.
your shoes.
Yeah. And here's the reality of it. I feel like it was easier in the past.
Yeah.
And I say it was easier in the past. I mean, people have caught up to but it used to be black shoes.
Yeah.
Black and one pair of brown shoes.
Right.
So you had a black belt and a brown belt, and that's all you had. Now we're talking multiple shades of brown.
Yeah.
So now, I'm not gonna lie. This morning I went through 4 different belts compared to these drivers. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because they're a different shade of brown than I normally wear. So I'm like, which shade of brown do I want to wear?
Yeah. So you've got on, for the listeners, you've got on a pair of they're like a cognac, I guess, driver. And so I'm assuming your belt is probably pretty darn close.
I think I'm pretty close.
Yeah.
And it's a little darker. It kind of goes with the stitching.
Mine are, I don't even know what these are classified as. They're
It's almost like a light tan.
They've got like a mustardy almost, like saddle,
a little more
color.
yellowy. Yeah.
And then my belt is actually it's like an elastic braided thing going on,
cool
and
look.
it's got a little bit of brown leather on it, but it doesn't match. But I don't think that necessarily it has to. I think as long as the tonality is close,
There, exactly. Tonality is key.
It doesn't really matter.
I just don't want to see you wearing
A white belt with like black shoes,
or
don't do that.
I don't want to see you wearing a black belt with brown shoes.
Yeah.
At least have it. If it's not going to be an exact match, at least have it in the same family, the same wheel, the same color wheel.
Yeah, I think that the exception to that rule, again, as we talked about before, is like if you're doing sneakers. If you're doing sneakers, man, the sky's the limit. Other than like if you're wearing white sneakers, don't do a black belt.
I did a gray belt the other day.
Literally anything.
Yeah. And I don't do the white belt. I mean, unless I'm like on the golf course or something. You know what I mean? Right. It's a look. It's just not necessarily my look all the time. Right. So I did a gray canvas with the white sneakers, and it kind of blended in with my pants. Sometimes I'll do that. Like if I'm wearing a sneaker or something, I'll put a belt that goes with the pants really well. Yeah,
the way I usually do my belts if I'm wearing sneakers is like if I'm wearing brown leather sneakers, which I wear a lot.
Yep.
I wear a brown leather belt.
Yeah, me too.
Typically is what I usually do. If I'm wearing my white sneakers though, usually the belt coordinates with the rest of the outfit. So like if I'm wearing jeans, I've got like the tan canvas mission belt that I'll wear with like a shirt that has like some sort of tan in it or something like that. It just kind of holds everything else together.
That's kind of what I do too.
Yeah.
It starts with the shoes. If I'm doing a shoe that's so unique, then I end up making my belt work with the rest of my outfit.
Right.
Yeah. At the end of this, and I know this is where guys get stuck.
Mm.
And this is why I think we had the conversation earlier about guys just give up sometimes.
Yeah.
The little details build the outfit.
Yeah.
We could get 2 guys. We could put them in a shirt and a pair of pants and a tie, whatever. Fine. But if we take the time and we put the proper shoe, the proper belt, possibly a pocket square, things like that, it just enhances their look.
Yeah.
The give a damn really goes up.
It does.
And that's what we're talking about. That's the next step.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're already wearing suits and you're already in the dress clothes, guys, the next step is just getting a little more creative with your accents.
Yeah.
Lapel pins. I know you rock those. You're not wearing today.
I'm not wearing one today. I couldn't figure out which one to wear, and I was running late.
Didn't have fuck it today. It wasn't the day for
I wore that last time.
You did wear it last time.
Did I? Okay.
I reference it. But so I just say that really does do a thing. It can even go down to shoelaces.
Yeah.
You know, that's a thing we see in some of our shoes, even dress shoes.
Yeah. I used to do the colored laces.
Colored laces on a nice pair of shoes.
Yeah,
Oof.
yeah. It's kind of cool. It's a cool look. And again, I feel like anything that's like below the knee, colored socks or colored laces, that's not really that's for me more so than anything else. You know what I mean? Like I sit down, I see that, and I'm just like, yeah.
Enjoy it, have fun with that, and don't overthink that stuff. That part's the fun. The socks, the shoelaces, that's fun.
It's the same thing with like the linings of the jackets. Like most people aren't going to see that. You know what I mean? They're not going to see that.
Mine's like a baby blue. I actually asked them to make it.
I'll show
pink.
you. I'll show this side. I'm not going to show this side. This is our competitor's jacket.
Yeah, don't show them. Don't
so
show them
this, I think I've had this jacket for about 300 years or something like that. It's
the
so
first
old.
jacket ever invented.
Yeah. I got this from Beau Brummel. So talking about accessories, one of the things one of the style rules I wanted to bring up was so this is an old school rule.
I'm excited about this one.
Your bow tie should be the same width as your eyes. The edges of the bow tie should run parallel with the width of your eyes. Oh my gosh.
Oh Jesus.
You know what I'm saying? So it should run like here. A lot of times you see like Fine and Dandy is one of the brands that we carry, and they do a lot of bow ties, and I see those guys on their Facebook and Instagram and stuff like that when they're posting pictures of themselves, and they have their bow ties, and their bow ties are really narrow. And they do it that way on purpose. And I think that's some of that nonchalance, that devil may care, whatever, that they do. And that's one of those rules I feel like you can kind of bend it a little bit.
So here's the reality of it. So bow ties are such a cool and fun look. I really enjoy bow ties. And sometimes us bigger guys have difficulty wearing the bow tie. Mm-hmm. Because if they get too small, it looks like our body's eating the bow tie. You know what I mean? Like, it's terrible, right?
Yeah,
you're like, ugh, what happened to the rest of your tie?
What's going on there, guy?
You know,
what are you doing?
Because it gets lost.
Yeah.
You know, it gets lost in your neck and body area.
Yep. I have that issue because, like, when my beard hangs too low, it just covers it up, and they're like, why aren't you wearing a tie?
You're like, no, it's there. Hold on.
Look.
Yeah. So, that's definitely a thing that happens. And now, maybe as a bonus at some time, maybe we'll even do it today, and you can drop this link as a bonus video. So I will take a Windsor tie, and we can fold it in a certain way.
Oh yeah,
and make a bow tie.
Yeah.
I actually think there might be a video of it out there already with me doing it, but if not, I'll make a video someday. But
I'll scrub and look for it. We'll link it down below. Yeah.
It makes a big, like, you can make it whatever size you want. Like if you want a big, because if you're a big guy and you want to wear a bow tie, sometimes you can't do it.
They're too small.
Now, the eye rule, I get why they do it because it looks proportioned.
Yeah.
But I mean, if you're comfortable pushing limits, then I think you can go different sizes.
Yeah.
I do caution going too big. You may look like an old TV character from the 80s, maybe Bozo the Clown.
Yeah.
Might be a little too big.
Too big, yeah.
I think eyes or smaller is probably key, right?
Yeah.
I think that's the trend. I think that's the look. So
okay, so then another style rule that I want to talk about was your pocket square.
Yeah.
So traditionally, your pocket square, like today I have it. It kind of coordinates with the tie. It's like a teal pocket square. Yeah. Oftentimes, like for me, I just will throw one in there.
Yeah, I mean, pocket squares are a newer aspect of my dress attire.
Yeah.
You know, I really love pocket squares. You know, they're fun. Yeah. This is one of my favorite. I'll pull it out and kind of show it because I mean I know
this is from Fine and Dandy.
This is Fine and Dandy.
Yeah, and again, if you guys have never heard of them, they're out of New York, out of Manhattan. Everything they make is in house. I'll link to them down in the description.
But this is so this is something we have here. So I like, and for everybody, I'm usually wearing a jacket on these, and I know that videos, but there's pictures of me out there.
Yeah.
I have a full arm sleeve tattoo.
You're a big tat guy.
I like tattoos. I like graffiti.
Yeah.
This thing just spoke to me.
Yeah.
Like this was just my MO, right? Yeah. So it's like that sock thing again, right? Find something that you really find joy in and rock that, you know? But I do like it if you're not going to do something like a statement piece, then I really like it tying into another part of your.
And again, the viewers or the listeners can't see. My tie is loud.
Yeah, no, I mean it's nice paisley print, right?
I call it my LSD paisley tie.
I like it. I mean, it's got 2 or 3 different shades of like fuchsia, pink,
Yeah.
teal.
It's very bright.
it's
But
a
I
bright-
love this.
looks
This is my
great.
favorite tie.
I love that
I
tie.
love this tie so much. And like, so like, you know, the tie kind of like takes all the energy, and I don't want like my pocket square shouldn't overpower that.
Agreed.
You know what I mean? Which is why again, I think this is our 3rd video / episode, and I've worn a Navy jacket every single time.
Loves Navy, folks.
I do
Loves
love
Navy. He's just like every
blue.
other guy that walks in this store. Do you have a navy or a black?
Navy or black? Like,
Yeah.
oh, okay.
We joke about it. I mean, but it is
Yeah.
comfort. It's a comfort level,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
You know, so, but I do love pocket squares. It's an easy,
Yeah.
inexpensive way to update an outfit.
Yeah.
And for a guy like me that's kind of over wearing ties, like I'm just kind of over it.
Yeah.
This is a nice way to add a little bit of flair.
So my question to you is, and I know you don't wear ties very often, but
Yeah.
how do you feel about the tie pocket square that come together as a set?
I don't mind it, you know,
Yeah.
like I don't mind it. And I guess my thing is it's exactly what you just said a minute ago. It's like the busyness of the tie.
Yeah.
Like I don't need too many competing items on my chest area.
Right.
And that's why I like what you did here, because you have a busier tie, but you have a solid pocket square that matches into your tie. It's an accent of your tie. So I think that's really cool, because now if you had that same print in your pocket,
Be too much. It's a bit much.
if you're not in a like wedding ceremony where we're trying to match to bridesmaid dress, I
Right.
just don't understand it. Like
Right.
what are we doing? Did you cut the end of your tie off and poke in your pocket? Like what happened? You know what I mean? Like what's happening here? But no, I'm honestly not opposed to it. A matching set,
Yeah.
you'll see them out there. And most of the time you see those matching sets, they're not crazy prints.
right.
You know,
Yeah.
they're
Solids or something.
solids
like that.
or
Yeah.
a little bit of heathering to them or something
I
like
think that my rule of thumb, like for like more of a traditional classic look, is that if you don't have a lot of pocket squares, or you're not in like you haven't gotten to that point where you have a bunch of them or whatever. Like I do have like probably 30 or 40 pocket squares. Like one of those rounders is full at my house.
Yeah.
Leave me alone, guys.
Yeah, I mean, it's okay.
My rule of thumb, like my suggestion would be, if you're like, oh, I kind of want to try them out.
Yep.
Just get like a pack of white handkerchiefs at Walmart or whatever.
Yeah,
You
I
know
mean,
what
it's a good starting
Come in
spot.
here, or come in here, and we'll help you
Yeah,
out.
like literally, we can help
But
you.
if you don't want to come in here, or you're not in the area, then just get a plain white pack handkerchief.
And I think they even have like multi packs, like white, blue.
Yeah,
You know what
like
I
get
mean?
one of those. That's what I used to do for a long time.
it's a
Just
good
do the
starting spot.
straight TV fold, classic
Yep.
Mad Men style or whatever.
Yeah.
So that being said,
Mm-hmm.
all of that being said,
Yeah.
don't mix patterns. That's such an old, antiquated thought process.
I'm not gonna lie. When I saw this on the show notes, I was like,
what?
What?
Yeah.
So the rule
Used to
is
be.
you never, I mean, never
No.
mixed prints.
No.
Just don't do it. And one step further, that rule was, if you're gonna have a tie that has a print, that means you're wearing a solid shirt,
Solid shirt, solid suit.
all solid.
Yeah.
And if you're gonna have a pinstripe suit or a plaid suit or whatever, then your shirt's solid and your tie solid. You know, you only get one print per outfit.
Right.
In the old school rules.
Yeah.
And that print was usually only on one part of your outfit. Like it's
Right.
not like you could wear plaid shirt, plaid jacket, plaid
Yeah.
tie. No, it was, bro, you got one plaid. One.
That's it.
Uno.
That's it. Good luck.
Oh
Shit.
So I saw that on the show notes and I was like, yeah, well, that rule's stupid.
Yeah. I mean, like today I've got paisley tie, striped shirt,
And-
window pane jacket,
Plaid
suit. You've got your geometric. Is that
seven diamonds. Yeah, 7 diamonds.
So it's funny to me because, like, I'm sure you probably watched Mad Men. I love Mad Men. It was a great show, great style. But that's how they did it. That's
how everybody did.
legitimately how it was. Dark suit, solid shirt, and then like a pattern tie, and that's it.
We still run into customers, and granted, some of it is the age, a more mature customer.
And comfort too, I think.
And sometimes they're trying to dress their, it could be their grandkids, their kids, or whatever, the younger generation, our generation or even below. And they're like, well, I mean, he's got a print shirt on.
Yeah.
I was like, and?
Yeah.
What about it? And they're like, well, doesn't he need a solid tie? I was like,
No.
I will recognize you and I will explain to you, yes, that was true. But no, it is no longer the case. But it's and the thing is I say all of that. Now there is one thing, and you kind of touched on it there. It's comfort.
It is.
If you are going to, which as you said, you have what, three prints,
Yeah.
3-ish?
Yeah, because I got a solid pocket square.
If you're going to do that, then you better be able to own it. And you better be able to understand that, like, you did it on purpose. Yeah. It wasn't you went to your closet and stumbled into an outfit.
Yeah.
So, lights on. You know what I mean? So with that happening, I definitely think that's important for listeners to know that you can mix prints.
You can.
And not only that, embrace it and do it.
I say, here's my thing is, like, two rules that I want to, like, we're going to wrap up, I think.
Yeah, we're going to give a sign out. We got a couple more. If the lights change, it's just because we're opening. So.
Two rules I say that if you listen to this, you walk away from is, number one, give a fuck.
Yep.
Number two, mix patterns, man. It's okay.
Yeah, mix the prints.
I think that, like, mixing patterns, as long as the scales are similar. And I say that because what I mean is, if you're wearing a striped shirt and a striped tie, if you're doing like a fine stripe like on my shirt, do a wider like rep stripe tie so it kind of balances it out.
Yeah, I mean, and I would say that's the only time that I ever get concerned when prints patterns start getting combined and mixed is if they're too similar.
Yeah.
Then you run the case of, like, were you trying to match them perfectly? Because if so, you missed.
Yeah. Or did you get dressed in the dark?
Right. So if you're going to do it, be bold and do it.
Yeah.
Don't kind of halfway into it, like, well, I'm wearing stripe here and stripe there. It's better off that you wear a stripe and a paisley or something like that. Just fully dive in the water. Don't like, well, I'm going to kind of do it. Yeah. Do it or don't do it.
There's a really good book that I used to read all the time that we actually have here in the store. It's called Dressing the Man, and in it there's a chapter Alan Flesser talks about matching patterns or mixing patterns. I'll link to that down in the script. It's a great book. Yeah, absolutely great book.
So yeah, I mean, as I said, that's the. When I read that, I laughed because I knew there was no way that we were going to enforce that rule.
No, absolutely not. No, please mix patterns. Mix them up, man. That's one of those rules. Yeah. Shatter that mug.
Get rid of it. Like, it's just, I don't even. Yeah, it's a terrible idea they had it.
New rule: mix patterns.
Mix them all the time. You know. So we covered a lot today.
Yeah, we
did. Mean, the change of suits, how they're worn, what they should be worn, lengths have changed a little bit. Yep. Colors, what you can and can't wear.
Yeah. I think the reality is, though, at the end of the day, like, it's okay to experiment a little bit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's okay to
I think that's and we're gonna dive into this. We've already talked about a future episode we got coming up, the difference between style and fashion.
Yeah.
So style is yours. Period.
Yep.
Fast and hard, style is yours.
Yeah.
You can be a stylish person and not be fashionable.
Right.
You could also be fashionable and also be stylish. Right. They're not mutually exclusive.
No.
With that being said, what I mean by style is figure out your brand. Like, just think like you're a business and you're trying to promote your brand.
Yeah. What's your look?
What do you stand for?
Yeah.
Who are you? What do you stand for? Because you and I both are very stylish people, and they tend to not always be the same style.
Right.
But it doesn't mean that we're out of style, because it's our style. Like, you can never not be in style. So technically, your style could be Miller Lite t-shirts. I don't think it should be. Yeah, I think that's a terrible style, and it's not giving a damn. But you could do that. It would be a look. It's a bad look, but it's a look.
The Buckle called. They want their shirts back.
Yeah, stop wearing affliction shirts, folks. No, I did it. I'm sorry, I did it.
Man.
But so I say that is embrace your style, do you, and own it, because that's where the confidence comes from your outfits, and that's where ends up expanding into bigger and better things and successful life.
Yeah.
So there's a difference between style and fashion.
Yeah.
And we'll dig into that a little deeper and explain that more. But I guess that would be one of my biggest things is understand that when someone says, style, style is yours.
Yeah.
And we are here to help you. If it be virtually through any of our social media sites, which are all in there, or if it's in person in any of our stores, we will help you find your style if you need help. And it's okay to change styles over time.
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
That's a big note there that I just really want people to understand. Style is not fashion.
No. It's different. It's definitely different.
It is your look and your persona that you want to present to the world.
Yeah.
So
Want to wrap it up?
Yeah, I don't know that I have much. I
Let's-
mean,
yeah.
you got anything?
No, not really.
I was the last few weeks.
Okay. You had. I know you probably have a question for me, right? You usually have.
I usually have a question for you. You got one for me right now, or is that
I don't. No,
okay?
No.
One. So we talked about style and things like that. I want to stick on that topic. So, if you were to categorize your style,
Oh no.
it's a hard question, right? I gave you.
It is.
So this is funny because we always joke like. I try to find a name for my style look, like my vibe. Where do you feel that you're vibing right now? Like, and it changes. As I said, it changes.
does.
But where is your vibe right now? 2022, summer 2022. Like, what do you feel? Like, what is your inspiration, or where are you pulling from to build your outfits, to build your look, to build your style?
For a long time, like it was very, very. Again, we've talked about this before, but very classic, very traditional.
Fred Astaire.
Fred Astaire. And I think that, with everything that has happened over the last few years, COVID and stuff like that, I got really comfortable with gym shorts and hoodies and everything, just like everybody else.
Who
like
didn't?
Sweatpants. Like
Yeah.
I never didn't have on sweatpants.
Yeah.
And then starting to work here, I was more in the shorts and jeans and stuff like that, and everything. And I'm kind of starting to veer back towards suits. I mean, I wear suits more often than not anymore, but I'm kind of altering my style
Okay.
in that, 2022 going into fall is going to be more, suits and stuff like that. But my pants have gotten a little bit slimmer.
Yep. I've noticed. I like it.
My jackets, I got a few new jackets that are, no shoulder padding. This is not one of them. This is, again,
It's an older
billion
jacket.
years old.
Right.
But I like the softer shoulder,
Yeah.
I'm kind of getting more into that. And for a long time I was like, I don't know about this, guys. But as I wear it, I'm like, I kind of like that look.
It's a good vibe.
Kind of a higher armhole. So I'm kind of like, I guess if I had to categorize it, I would be more on I'm leaning more towards like the modern side, but with a classic twist.
Yeah, and I would
I
would
don't know.
agree with you. Because we talk about the Fred Astaire's, the Mad Men. We reference media because it's easier. If you're only listening to us, that way you can get a vision of what we're talking about. And you're definitely not in that look any longer.
No.
But you definitely bring some of that stuff forward to a more modern take.
Yeah.
So it's always fun. Sometimes it's interesting to see where people are getting their inspiration from.
Yeah.
So
yeah. So we last couple times. Tell me. Let's tell listeners about your outfit. Like, what are you wearing? We know we talked about Fine and Dandy.
So we talked about Fine and Dandy. The pocket square, it's great. I think it says it in here, which I'll show it for the video. So I am wearing one of the Stant custom fit suits. Yeah. This is actually a performance material, which is amazing. So
I love that suit. It's a light gray plaid.
Yep. With a little blue in there.
Yep. You got a patch pockets and a patch breast pocket, which is cool.
So outer patch pocket,
a little bit more casual.
And the same, no flaps on the pockets. Yep. It's a butterfly lining, so it's pretty lightweight. So that performance material, it's a little stretchy.
Yeah.
Very breathable, so you can wear it in the summer, not feel terrible.
Sure.
Which you want to find things you're comfortable in each season.
Yeah.
Obviously, I'm wearing a no break pant.
Yep.
I got a Cole Haan driver.
Yep.
So just like a nice slip on, no sock. And then seven diamond breathable microfiber shirt. Again, wrinkle resistant. It's easy. It's these are simple care.
Yeah.
So pretty simple outfit, but I went with like the grays and the blues today.
Yeah. I like it.
Which is, I guess, one of my looks. I like color, but this is a nice easy work.
It's an easy, like, especially if you're just starting out or whatever.
Yep.
Grays and blues, man, it's okay.
You can build so many outfits. And you guys will see this outfit, the jacket and the pants at least, but you'll probably see it with different shirts because that's the beauty of this outfit.
I'm kind of like there with you too. I've got mine's a little different, but I'm wearing a blue window pane jacket with it's got like a gray window pane, and then I've got a pair of gray Jackson James pants,
which I love. That the gray reaches back into the window pane.
Yeah, and then my shirt is it's a white base, but it's got like a pink and like fuchsia stripe.
I couldn't tell from here what the color was. I couldn't tell if it was pink or not. It looked like.
And
it
then
was.
my favorite tie. I love this tie. It's like a fuchsia, paisley, whatever going on, teal pocket square. And then my Allen Edmonds, another pair of Allen Edmonds shoes I've
Cap toe with a little brog.
Yeah, cap toe. It's got a little bit of a quarter brogue on it, which I love. I've had these shoes for, again, this is like my second pair of shoes I ever bought. Yeah. Like big boy shoes.
Yeah, like adult shoes. Adult shoes, right? Yeah.
So, yeah. All right. Yeah.
Looks great,
Let's
man.
wrap it up. Thanks, man.
Let's do
you
it.
too. I like
Looking
it.
great.
Thank you, everybody, for joining us this week again for another episode of Style Sessions. My name is Aaron Selberg. Jeremy Reed. Join us next week for another episode. If you want to follow us on social media, it's Instagram, it's Facebook, it's TikTok, it's all over the place. If you want to email us, you can send us an email at peoria@thatguysecret.com. We will respond to you as quickly as we can. Thank you again for joining us, and catch us next week for another episode.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.